Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Today we'll be continuing the topic from yesterday about Sanskrit and its importance in understanding the Vedic literature. We were talking about the difference between the vowels and consonants, and we had seen that this differentiation is very clearly marked out in the alphabet of Sanskrit literature. The vowels are placed first and the consonants are placed later. And within the consonants and vowels also there is a hierarchy. And as we said that in spiritual underpinnings of Sanskrit language, everything is from inside to out. Yeah? And we gave an example of the vowels. The first vowel is A, which is total unmodified passage of sound without any stoppage and without any modification. So it's the purest sound possible, and that represents pure consciousness. That is also the first letter of Rig Veda, as in the first Richa it starts with Agni Mile Purohitam. There's a whole science about how each letter of Rig Veda gives a commentary of the previous letter, how the totality of knowledge is expressed in the first letter, that is A. Then it's further elaborated in the first two letters, that is Ag. And then it is further elaborated in the first three letters, the Ag, Na, like that. No, it's a beautiful exposition which Maharshi Mahesh Yogi had explained, and which is very logical and very experientially experienceable. No? Then we see that the next vowel after A is E. E is when the tongue is lifted upwards towards the palate. So the middle part of the tongue is active here. So that is where the constriction comes to produce the sound of E. And then comes U, which is the last point in the passage of the sound. So it goes from inside to outside. First A, then E, and then U, outside. Similarly, if you see the consonants, then there are 5 levels of consonants, and each level consists of 5 consonants. So there are in all 25 of them. First is Ka Varga, that is the line which contains all the consonants which are spoken from the throat, again from inside out, we are saying. Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga. All of them are pronounced from the throat. You know, in order to pronounce any consonant, we have to constrict the passage somewhere. And the deepest that we can constrict is at the throat. So the first line gives all those 5 consonants which are pronounced by constricting the passage at the earliest possible, which is the throat. So that is called Ka Varga, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga. Within these 5 also there is a sequence, we will talk about it later. But then the next 5 consonants, next line, that is Cha, 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 Ja, Ja, Ya. Now all these are also pronounced in the same manner as the vowel E is pronounced. The same part of the tongue goes towards the palate, the middle part of the tongue. And so these are the next level from the deepest, which was throat for the first line. Then the next deepest is near the palate. No? And then comes the third line, Ta, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na. All of them are retroflex sounds. like the tip of the tongue is turned upwards and backwards and touches the palate at a point which is slightly still further out compared to the second line. Yeah. So again, coming inward to outward. Then the next line is ta, tha, da, dha, na. You can notice very clearly when you say ta, the tongue is touching the teeth. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. In all of them, the tongue is touching the teeth. And that is the penultimate level. And the last line is pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. All of them are pronounced with lips. So we see it's very clearly organized in different parts of the passage which are constricted while pronouncing, but then they're ordered in the sequence from inside to out. Now we talk about the order within a particular line. The order within a particular line is very systematic. The first letter of each line is like ka, cha, ta, ta, pa. Each of these is a sound which has less amount of breath compared to the second. For example, the first two letters of the first line are ka and kha. And you can see, if you place your palm in front of your mouth and pronounce ka, and you notice how much wind, how much air is felt on the palm. And then you say kha, and you'll notice that there's much more breath that is touching the palm. So similarly, in each of these five, cha and cha, ta and tha, ta, tha, pa, pha, each of these, when you compare, the first letter does not produce that much of breath. The second letter is aspirated. It produces more breath. So unaspirated and aspirated. Then the same thing happens between the third and the fourth. The third is unaspirated. The fourth is again aspirated. Ka, kha was the first two. Now ga and gha. In ga and gha also, the ga does not produce much breath. Gha produces much more. So first unaspirated, then aspirated, then unaspirated, then aspirated. And the last one is which all those consonants which need the passage through the nose also to participate. Like ka, kha, ga, gha, last one is nga. Cha, cha, ja, jha, last one is ya. Ta, tha, da, dha, last one is na. Ta, tha, da, dha, last one is na. Each of these needs the nose. No, you can't pronounce these by closing the nose. Ka, kha, ga, ga. You can't pronounce. No, or ta, tha, da, dha. You can't pronounce the last one without the help of the nose. So these are all nasal sounds, the last ones. Now we had the first unaspirated, second aspirated, third unaspirated, fourth aspirated. Why were these two pairs? No. The difference between the first pair of unaspirated and aspirated and the second pair of unaspirated and aspirated, the difference is resonance in the chest. In the first two, there is no resonance, ka, kha. But the second two, there is ga, gha. There is a resonance in the chest area. How to notice that more clearly is, suppose we want to speak to someone in the ear. Normally what we say is whispering. When you whisper, basically you are using only the breath and you are avoiding the resonance in the chest. So when you whisper something, you can easily say the first two letters. Ka, kha you can say. No? Like ka, kha. No? Kal. No? Tomorrow. The word for tomorrow is kal. Kal. No? So ka you can say. But if you try to say ga without the resonance, ka, the ga itself turns into ka. No? So you cannot pronounce basically the difference between whispering and speaking. As long as it is whispering, there is no resonance. As soon as it becomes speaking in contrast to whispering, then the resonance is involved. And that is the difference between the first pair of letters and the second pair of letters. No? And between those pairs, of course, the difference is the first one is unaspirated, the second one is aspirated. So you see, there's such a scientific way of organizing the letters. And that covers all possible areas of the mouth, yeah, and various places where it touches. So it's a comprehensive map of the various sounds that are possible to produce with the human speaking system. Yeah. Then, of course, there are certain sounds which are between the consonants and vowels also. We had said that vowels are those things which can be said continuously, and consonants are those which can be uh, pronounced only as the beginning or the end of a vowel. But there are some letters which can be used in both ways. No, and these are called antastha. Anta means in between. So there are swaras, that is vowels. There are consonants which are vyanjanas. And there are antasthas, that means they are in between the two, which can serve both purposes. Like ya, no, y for example, no, ya. In German you use j, yacht for that. No, so that sound of ya. That sound of ya can be used as a consonant, like ya, ya, ye, you, like that. You can add another vowel with that. But then you can also extend it. Like if you want to say yes, you can say yes, yes. Yeah? So the ya itself gets extended. So it behaves there like a vowel. So sometimes you can make it behave like a vowel, sometimes you can make it behave like a consonant. So these are the sounds which are in between vowels and consonants. So these are called antastha, or in between sounds. You know? And so they are all placed together. No? Ya, ra, la, wa. Yes. Right. No? Right. Ra can also be extended. No? Light. Yeah. So la also can be stretched. No? Why. No? So wa also can be stretched. So these are antastha, that is, there are between the vowels and the consonants, between swaras and vyanjanas. So they are all grouped together. And then there are sibilants. Sibilants are also called fricates, like which there is a friction of air at different parts of the mouth, like sh, h, sa. No? And then ha, that is the purest. Again, the difference between the first letter a and the last letter ha is that this is also, the whole mouth is open just like the first letter, but then there is a resonance also included in it, much deeper resonance. A and ha. So it's a very, very systematic, very, very scientific arrangement. And this is what enables the Sanskrit grammar to be expressed in equations. Like these are like x, y, z, etc. And equations, you say x square plus y square, etc. like you say. So, and you can express a lot of knowledge in a very small equation. Similarly, what Panini has done, Panini is the grammarian of Sanskrit language, one of the most prominent grammarians. And what he has done is, he has used these properties of these consonants and vowels and their groupings. He has made his own way of grouping these vowels and consonants. But what he has done is, he has been able to so concisely put all the knowledge that there are sutras, some of them which are just like one letter or one syllable. Oath is one sutra, for example. And like that, there are about 4,000 sutras. Some are, of course, longer also. But just to give an idea, like Vriddhiradaich is the first sutra. Adeng Guna is the next sutra. Iko Guna Vriddhi is the third sutra. Very short ones. No? There are about 4,000 of these, which can be put in just 4 or 5 pages of a book. But that Sanskrit grammar of Panini is not only the grammar of Sanskrit language, it is such a huge body of knowledge. It includes phonology, which can be used in any language. It is not just phonology of Sanskrit, it is just phonology per se. The same rules which are used in other languages also. But in other languages, people have not bothered to systematically study them. But in Sanskrit, this science of production of different sounds, how different sounds, when pronounced immediately one after the other, how they change their shape, all that is included in Panini's grammar. And then there is whole science of etymology, how words are made up, and the etymology of Sanskrit is a very vast subject, because normally in other languages you see etymologies, this word in English comes from Greek or from Latin, and then you finish it. But in Sanskrit, one example I'll give, every noun in Sanskrit is supposed to be, if a grammarian is a good grammarian, he should be able to derive every noun from a verb. And all verbs ultimately coming from the pure consciousness. I'm just putting the whole story very short. The whole Sanskrit grammar shows very clearly how, in fact, this a part of Sanskrit grammar, you can say, is shiksha. Shiksha in normal parlance is translated as education. But it was understood there that education really means training the nervous system, not just collecting information, but training the nervous system. And training the nervous system is done by the exact pronunciation of letters. So exact pronunciation of letters was the topic of shiksha. And it goes into very fine details of pronunciations. But the first Panini Shiksha, the first shloka, it shows how deep they have gone into the origin of sounds. It starts with Atma, pure consciousness. Atma buddhya sametyarthan mano yungte vivakshaya manah kayagnimahanti saprerayati maruta marutasturasi charan mandram janayate swaram. Atma, the consciousness, the pure consciousness, Atma buddhya. Then the next level is buddhi. Buddhi is that which decides between two things, that differentiates between two things. That is buddhi. So Atma buddhya samet, with the help of buddhi, mano yungta, employs man. Man you can loosely translate as mind. So pure consciousness, with the help of intellect, with the help of buddhi, employs man to desire to speak. How the desire to speak originates in the beginning. From there they have started the origin of words. So from pure consciousness, using the intellect, and then inspiring the mind, mano yungte vivakshaya, the desire to speak is aroused in the mind. Then manah kayagni mahanti, then the mind becoming active makes the metabolic rate increased. So that is kayagni. And saprerayati maruta, that impels the breath. When the metabolic rate increases, the breathing becomes faster, and that impels the breath. Marutas turasi charan, and that breath reverberating in the chest. Like that. There's a resonance going on. That is, the breath is not coming out, but it is reverberating